I've heard it said that knowing the answers isn't the problem. It's knowing the questions that's the problem. Well, if that is so, boy, do I have a devotion for you today because I don't have many answers, just a whole bunch of questions. And one of them is a particularly troublesome question. I wonder what you think of it, what your response would be to it. But before I get into that, let me just say this is a short midweek devotion from the Littleton United Methodist Church. Personality profiles are pretty common today. A lot of places when you work, you have to take a personality profile, I guess, so your boss knows how to deal with you. I've taken Kiersey Bates, Myers Briggs, the DISC profiles, Strength Finders multiple times, and all these. So I guess I sort of know who I am. Maybe if there's much accuracy to them. Now, I'm not saying that all of these personality profiles are equally valuable or that they're accurate or to a certain degree, but it does seem like it's a real high likelihood that our personalities affect our work life, affect our hobbies, affect our married life, affect the things we do. Wouldn't you think that maybe the personality, your personality, my personality, would affect our spiritual lives also? I mean, doesn't it seem likely that some of us are more outgoing than others? So while some of us would rather sit in a nice quiet forest and meditate and pray, others of us might want to be in a loud, exuberant worship service, and others might appreciate the dignity and the history and the tradition of perhaps a more liturgical type of service. Some of us may want our lives to be as holy as possible and to live lives of great piety, while others might want to work in social action and make a difference in the world. And they could look at those that are living lives of piety and say, well, they're of so much so heavenly minded, they're of no earthly use. Some of us may want to be a part of a fast growing, large evangelical church where things are happening, and others of us may want to be a part of a smaller type of church. And so it may be that we gravitate toward churches that make us feel comfortable because the church itself has the personality much like us. One of us may gravitate toward a quiet church. One of us may gravitate toward a church that has signs and wonders of God's work and his handiwork. And one of us may gravitate toward an evangelical soul winning church, while another gravitates toward, as I said before, social action. And it may be that not only do we gravitate toward some churches, we gravitate away from churches because they don't match our personality and we just don't feel like a good fit. Well, here in America, we pick our fast food restaurants by the quality of the French fries, whether they match what we think a French fry ought to be or not. Is it possible that with a church on nearly every street corner, that we pick our churches very similarly? We find the church that matches us the best and we grow. Back when we were studying church growth a few years ago, church growth methods and stuff, one of the signs or one of the marks of a fast growing church is it being a homogeneous church, people being similar. I wonder if that is good. That's the troubling question. Is that a good thing? It's certainly a comfortable thing. I mean, we pretty much want to go to a church with like minded people, a church like birds of a feather that flock together, one where we feel comfortable, one where we can grow, one that doesn't have a lot of conflict in it. And of course, if we go to a church totally different personality wise than we are, we're quiet and we go to a loud church. We're loud, we go to a quiet church. We want to roll up our sleeves and make a difference in the world. And we go to a pious church. We want to spend time in prayer and meditation, draw close to God. And others are just wanting to go out there and take a hammer and do stuff. It certainly can lead to a lot of conflict. But is that a bad thing? I don't know. But my thoughts do go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. The body of Christ has many different parts, just as any other body does. Some of us are Jews and others are Gentiles. Some of us are slaves and others are free. But God's Spirit baptized each of us and made us a part of the body of Christ, now that we each drink from that same Spirit. Our bodies don't have just one part, they have many parts. Suppose a foot says, I'm not a hand, and so I'm not part of the body. Or suppose an ear says, I'm not an eye, so I'm not a part of the body. And it goes on and on. And we often interpret that God has given some of us the gifts of preaching, and some of us the gifts of teaching, and some of us the gifts of other sorts of things, music or something like that. And all of that's a valid, good way to read that. But it may be that God has also given us personalities that are different, and God has given us larger things that are different to add flavor to the congregation that we're in. And it may be that you being different than your congregation adds a little bit of seasoning to that congregation. It may be that it's not good for me to just be around people that look and sound and act and have the same background I've had all my life. It may be good for me to worship next to those that, in my case, may be louder than me because I tend to be kind of quiet. And I may feel uncomfortable in an exuberant service, but maybe that's not a bad thing. I don't know. What do you think? It's a troubling question, isn't it? Do we have churches in America where the church on this street corner is all left-handed and the church on that street corner is all right-footed, and because we're all like that? Do you have some thoughts about this subject? Some comments? If so, go to the comment and leave us a comment. Do you have any suggestions on what you would like me to share in a devotion sometime? If so, let me know. If there's something about these devotions that would make them better for you, let me know. I have a group of people, mostly my kids, that look at them each week, more or less, and give me their feedback. And one of the feedbacks they've recently given me is I'm getting a little long-winded. So once again, it's a short midweek devotion, or at least I try. May God bless you this week, watch over you, and let you be fruitful for Him.